AMC stock is currently up about 7% at the time of recording this video, breaking above our key levels, up now 7.5%, getting a little bit of a rally as we are filming this video. And yes, if we got the green hat on, you already know it is a good day. AMC stock performing phenomenal, and I think it's about to go crazy, and I really do think this is another leg of the AMC rally that we are about to see, that you guys could use this information to profit immensely on. Now, as far as the overall technical picture, we bounced off the 200-day moving average yesterday, and we've seen a wild recovery by the end of the day to actually close positive 5.43%. We were down as much as 8.5–9% at one point yesterday, bouncing right off of the 200-day moving average. I did indicate in yesterday's video that that is very bullish, that it looks like it might be a good time to place a call position on AMC stock because of that one reason. Now, you are also seeing high volume that is really here to stay, and it looks like today's going to be a higher volume day than yesterday, and we just broke out above the $25 level. Yes, back here, this was on August 8th, we were above $25 for a majority of the day, actually hit a high of $27.50 per share, but here what we are seeing today is the longest time frame where we have actually been above $25 per share since March. And I think that is another leading indicator that AMC probably has more room to go with this next leg of the rally. And I think really if we can get above 27.50 either tomorrow or on Monday, which I do think will happen probably tomorrow if I were to imagine, then you're going to see those trading algorithms really start to bid up the stock. Because let's just be honest here, why did AMC bounce so picture perfectly off the 200-day moving average, literally on the penny? It wasn't because people, individual investors, started to buy the stock as soon as the stock was dipping down and hit the 200-day moving average. No, it was trading algorithms that were already planned, programmed to bid up the stock once you hit that 200-day moving average. That means if algorithmics are doing the trading essentially, well, we're probably going to go a lot higher because we're seeing a picture perfect technical rally. That's the best way to imagine it. At this point, you don't want to bet against the trading algorithms. I think that's clear to say. You would rather use them to your benefit rather than trying to bet against them. And betting on AMC to fall right now is betting against the algorithms, and I am not in a position to be doing that. Now, as far as the RSI, yes, we have cooled down a lot, which is a very good thing. Back here when we hit $27.50 per share, we actually hit a high of about 82 on the RSI intraday, and that was just too high. We have since come down to 71.92, which is still above the overbought level. So you are a little extremely overbought, but not that much, right? This is obviously much more in this black territory than where we are right now. So I think that is very bullish if you're thinking about at least another big 20, 30, 40, 50% day. And let's be honest, if we were to get a 100% day from here, you're going straight to $50, in that $50 range. So I don't really think that's off the table either, but I think it would act somewhat in the same nature that AMC did back here during the June 2nd rally. You opened the day at $37.52 per share, and it was pretty much a slow and steady climb up, but AMC was just moving a lot more on a minute-by-minute basis or a 5-minute basis. I don't necessarily think AMC is going to gap up 100% to open a day. So long story short, I think you still have time. I was going to say a little bit of time, but I do still think you have time at least to play the next couple of days or next couple of weeks worth of a breakout. And really, once you break above 27.50, let me just tell you guys how it's going to work as far as options. If you guys own options and we break above that level, well, the implied volatility is going to rip and the expectations of AMC will change. Right now, premiums are still pretty cheap because people don't really know what's going to happen or how big AMC stock could move at this moment in time. If you break out past the prior high that we just have recently seen over the last what, 3-5 months, well, that's where the options will really start to juice. So I think all of that is very bullish to keep in mind. The MACD is also extremely bullish, looking as bullish as we were back here in March, with no signs of slowing down, and neither is AMC stock, still up 7.35% at the time of recording this video. Nonetheless, what is happening for the broad markets today? It's been a very volatile day, starting to get a little bit of a toppy nature in the stock market. We did hit $424.95 per share, almost at that $25 level, and it looks like we found a lot of resistance. Now, we've been hovering, in between 421, 423, but it looks like we're hanging around the lower end range of about 421.10, and I think a lot of that is due to that quote that I laid out to you guys in yesterday's videos. 1 month does not end a trend, but every trend starts with 1 month, right? And what does that mean? Well, with inflation coming down, it was below expectations. That was actually the best market response we have gotten after a CPI report in a very long time. The last 12 CPI reports, only 3 of them have produced a positive result, and the other, 9 of them have produced a negative result. So it's very rare historically, as far as the data is concerned, behind CPI days throughout 2022 and even 2021, you don't really get a positive day all too often, and the stock market has really rallied a lot from the bottom. Like, if you look at the Apple chart here, I mean, Apple is almost at all-time highs. Almost at all-time highs. So I do think you could be in store for a little bit of downside at the very least over the next couple of weeks. We do have some Fed speakers that speak today. After hours, you also got the PPI data that did come out, and that was bullish. Now, tomorrow, the big catalyst is going to be the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Preliminary August Survey. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to give the U.S. consumer confidence gauge. Are people going out spending a lot more money? You might actually get holiday spending expectations as well mixed into here, and I think that will also be important. If a lot of people are saying, yes, we're gonna go spend money on the holidays, yes, we're still spending money, we don't think inflation is a big deal, we think inflation will go down, we think we're gonna earn more money in 2022 and 2023, well, that's going to be very bullish. If the exact opposite's the case, there's instability around if people think they're gonna keep their jobs, if they're not gonna spend as much money on the holiday spending season, if they think inflation is going to be higher than what the markets want to hear over the next month, 6 months, 12 months, well, that's going to be a negative thing. And I do think there's not really too much of a rosy picture for the broad economy. You have seen people starting to slow down. It was a little bit worse when gas was over $5 a gallon, especially here in Michigan. You've seen people really starting to cut back places. It's since fallen from there, but I don't think people have this rosy, optimistic picture about the economy, especially when large companies are starting to lay people off. So I do think that could be a little bit of downside for the broad markets. You do get the crop report as well. That comes out at 12 p.m. Given the state of, potentially a food crisis globally coming around the world, because the Russia-Ukraine invasion, that those two countries amount for like 30% of the global wheat, like 20% of the global corn supply. And that has obviously been diminished down to a fraction of what it was before. So we might start to see, less food, and that's going to equal more inflation, because obviously supply and demand there. So those are the things that I'm really watching for the rest of this week. Today, PPI came in good, and that was another bullish thing to maybe suggest that inflation has started to actually come down in a meaningful way. As far as options, you really don't have anything left. Pre-market, you had some companies. I doubt any single one of you guys own any of these companies besides maybe Honest, and those earnings not all too bad in the grand scope of things. Now, with the CPI report, with the good labor report, which was a kind of offsetting each other, still 25% of market participants are expecting a 75 basis point rate hike. 50% of market participants are expecting or 75% of market participants are expecting a 50 basis point rate hike. So depending on what the Fed speakers say today, depending on what the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey says tomorrow, that can move around these expectations, and that is what can drive the stock market to keep rallying or potentially come down. Now, I don't think we're going to get a big crash unless we got some kind of black swan event that we can't see coming. Maybe it's the Fed raising rates in August. Maybe it's whoever knows what else. But I do think the markets look a little bit toppy. They're way overbought. They shouldn't be this overbought right now. People are really basically betting that the Fed is going to U-turn and that inflation is going to come down. It looks like inflation has started to come down, but the Fed U-turn part, I'm not so concerned about that. So it could get a little bit toppy, and that is something you guys definitely want to watch out for. Now, as far as AMC, a brief rundown with the data that we are seeing: about $2.15 billion worth of short positions currently on AMC. Short interest of free float 17.67%, free float out on loan about 25.5%, and the cost to borrow max at 11.08%, cost bar minimum at 7.94%, and cost bar average at 8.63%. Now, I had some people say on yesterday's video that the cost bar was not 73%, and that was some kind of glitch. Well, actually, in fact, it was 73%, 73.29% for a long time. Actually, that's about 12 hours. The cost to borrow max was 73%, so I don't think that's a glitch, kind of like what Yahoo Finance and other brokers have experienced with AMC stock. Everything's all just one big glitch. So that's pretty much going to be all as far as the option activity. You are looking at 66% positive order value, 91 orders totaling $14.8 million. So looking very, very bullish in that regard as well. So that's going to be it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Get your free stocks down below in the description with Webull, Moomoo, and Public. And if you guys want to come trade with me live in real time, link down below in the description as well. We have been hitting some killer trades over there, especially the ones on Disney. And that was just today. That was a couple 100%er. So that is going to be it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.